Okay guys, so yesterday we read about meeting Mother Wolf and Father Wolf, and a man cub came into their cave because Shere Khan the tiger was chasing after him to kill him. So Mother Wolf decided to keep the man cub, who she named Mowgli Frog, and they have now taken Mowgli to Council Rock to see if the other wolves in the pack will accept him in the pack or if he has to leave. So we're on page 14 today. Akela did not raise his head from his paws, but continued to cry, "Look well!" A muffled roar came from behind the rocks. Shere Khan. "The cub is mine," he called. "Give him to me. What does the wolf pack want with a man cub?" Akela did not even twitch his ears. He simply said, "Look well, O wolves. The pack does not take orders from anyone save ourselves. Look well." There was a chorus of deep growls. A 4-year-old wolf repeated Shere Khan's question. "What does the pack want with a man cub?" According to the law of the jungle, a cub in question will be accepted into the pack if he is spoken for by at least 2 pack members who are not his mother or father. "Who speaks for this cub?" Akela asked. There was no answer. Mother Wolf got ready for a fight, if it came to that. Then the only other creature allowed at the pack council, Baloo, the sleepy brown bear, who teaches the cubs the law of the jungle, rose up on his hindquarters and grunted. "The man cub," he said. "I'll speak for him. There is no harm in a man cub. Let him run with the pack and be accepted with the others. I myself will teach him." "We need one more," Akela said. "Baloo has spoken, and he is our cub's teacher. Who besides Baloo?" A black shadow dropped down into the circle. It was inky black Bagheera the panther. Everybody knew Bagheera, and nobody dared cross him. Bagheera was as clever as Tabaqui, as bold as a water buffalo, and as reckless as a wounded elephant. But he had a voice as sweet as wild honey dripping from a tree, and skin softer than down. "Akela and the wolves," he purred. "I have no right at your council, but the law of the jungle says if there is a cub in question, that cub may be bought for a price. And the law does not say who may or may not pay that price. Am I correct?" Yes," said the young wolves, for they were always hungry and hoped Bagheera would offer food. "Speak." "It would be a shame to kill a naked cub. Besides, he will make better sport when he is grown. To Baloo's word, I add 1 water buffalo, a fat one, newly killed, not a half a mile from here. Will you accept the man cub according to the law?" Many wolves spoke at once. "What does it matter? He will die in the winter rains. He will burn in the sun. How can a naked frog hurt us? Let him run with the pack. Where is the buffalo, Bagheera?" And then came Akela's cry, look well, O wolves." Mowgli was still engrossed in the pebbles. He did not even notice as the wolves looked over him one by one, and then padded softly down the hill towards the dead buffalo. Soon only Akela, Bagheera, Baloo, and Mowgli's own wolf family were left. Shere Khan roared angrily in the distance. "Roar well," Bagheera said under his whiskers. "A time will come when this cub will make you roar another tune, Shere Khan, or I know nothing of man." "Well done," Akela said. "Men and their cubs are wise. He may be a help in time." Akela was thinking of the time that comes to every pack leader when his strength leaves him and he gets feebler and feebler until at last he is killed and a new leader emerges. "Take him away," Akela said to Father Wolf. "Train him as one of us." Over the next 10 or 11 years, Mowgli had many wonderful adventures among the wolves. He grew up with the cubs, though they were grown wolves before he was even a child. Father Wolf and Baloo the bear taught him all the things to know in the jungle. When Mowgli was not learning, he sat in the sun and slept and ate and slept again. When he felt hot or dirty, he swam in the forest pools. And when he wanted honey, Baloo taught him that honey and nuts were as good to eat as meat. He climbed up and got it. Mowgli was very good at climbing, anywhere thanks to Bagheera. When Mowgli was still very small, Bagheera would lie out on a branch and call, "Come along, little brother." At first, Mowgli would cling to a vine and crawl slowly along, but soon he would fling himself through the branches of the jungle as boldly as an ape. When the pack met, Mowgli took his place at Council Rock. He discovered that if he stared hard at any wolf, the wolf would be forced to drop his eyes. In this way, Mowgli could easily win any argument. But sometimes he would stare just for fun. He would also pick long, painful thorns out of the paws of his wolf friends. The members of the pack were grateful for Mowgli's nimble fingers, and Mowgli considered himself to be one of them. At night, Mowgli would go down the hillside into the farmlands and look at the villagers in their huts. He was curious about men, but he did not trust them. Bagheera had showed him a trap made by a man, so well hidden in the jungle that Mowgli had nearly walked into it. There was nothing Mowgli liked better than to spend the day with Bagheera in the warm, dark heart of the forest. They would sleep all the drowsy day, and at night Mowgli would watch Bagheera do his hunting. Bagheera hunted easily whenever he felt hungry, and so did Mowgli, with one exception. As soon as Mowgli was old enough to understand, Bagheera told him he must never harm water buffalo because he had been accepted into the pack for the price of a water buffalo's life. But for the sake of that bull, you must never kill or eat water buffalo. That is the law of the jungle. Mowgli obeyed the rule faithfully. Mowgli grew big and strong, living the carefree life of a boy who thought mostly of things to eat. Once or twice, Mother Wolf told him that Shere Khan was not to be trusted. She told him that someday he must kill Shere Khan. A young wolf would have remembered that advice every hour, but because Mowgli was only a boy, Mowgli forgot it. Shere Khan was always crossing Mowgli's path. The tiger had become great friends with the younger wolves in the pack, who followed him and ate his scraps. This was something Akela would never have allowed in his stronger days, but the pack leader was growing old and feeble. Shere Khan flattered the young wolves, asking them why such fine hunters were content to be led by a dying wolf and a man cub. "They tell me at council you don't dare look him in the eyes," the tiger would say, and the young wolves would growl and bristle. Bagheera, who had eyes and ears everywhere, tried to warn Mowgli that Shere Khan was a dangerous enemy. But Mowgli just laughed. "I have you and the pack, and even lazy Baloo might strike a blow for my sake. Why should I be afraid?" One very warm day, Bagheera tried again. "Little brother, how often have I told you Shere Khan is your enemy and will one day try to kill you?" Mowgli lay with his head on Bagheera's beautiful black fur. "As many times as there are nuts on that palm," he replied. "But I am sleepy, and Shere Khan is all long tail and loud talk, like Mayo the peacock." "There is no time for sleeping," Bagheera said seriously. "Shere Khan is a danger to you. Baloo knows, and I know. The pack knows, and even Tabaqui knows." "Ho-ho," Mowgli laughed. "Tabaqui came to me with rude talk, and I swung him by the tail against a tree to teach him better manners." "That was foolish," Bagheera said. "Tabaqui may be a mischief maker, but he would have told you important things. Shere Khan will not dare to kill you as long as Akela is the leader of the pack. But Akela is growing old. The day is coming when he will no longer lead. Many of the younger wolves believe, as Shere Khan has taught them, that a man cub has no place in the pack. And soon you will be a man." "Why can't a man run with his brothers?" Mowgli asked. "I was born in the jungle. I obey the law of the jungle. I've pulled thorns from the paws of every wolf here. Surely they are my brothers." Bagheera stretched his full length. "Little brother, feel under my chin," he said, with half-closed eyes. Mowgli put his hand under Bagheera's silky chin. Just under the jaw, he found a little bald spot. "There is no one in the jungle who knows that I, Bagheera, carry that mark. It is the mark of a collar. Yes, little brother, I have lived among men. It was among men that my mother died, in the cages of the king's palace. That is why I paid the price for you at the council when you were a naked cub. Like you, I was born among men. They fed me behind bars until one day I knew I was Bagheera the panther, and no man's plaything. With one blow from my paw, I broke the lock. I ran away, and because I had learned the ways of man, I became more terrible in the jungle than even Shere Khan. Isn't that so?" "Yes," Mowgli nodded. "Everyone in the jungle fears Bagheera, except Mowgli." "You are a man cub," Bagheera said tenderly. "Just as I return to the jungle, one day you will go back to the world of men, if you are not killed by the pack first." "Why should the pack wish to kill me?" Mowgli asked. "Look at me," said Bagheera. Mowgli looked steadily into his eyes. After half a minute, the big panther turned his head away. "That is why," Bagheera said. "Not even I can look you in the eyes, and I love you, little brother. The others hate you because their eyes cannot meet yours. That they see that you are not their equal because you are wise, because you have pulled thorns from their feet, because you are a man." So when we continue tomorrow, we'll find out if the pack is going to allow Mowgli to stay in the pack once he becomes a man.